No marigold. This flower. Sneeze. A verse somewhere?
It's spread on the screen.
Okay. You should increase the volume. My voice is very close. Slow. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardha Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardha Dhari Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astataru Shishimad. His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Iskcon founder, BBT founder Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mathura Dham Ki. Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki. Shri Shri Radha Parthasarthi Dham Ki. Ganga Mahi Ki. Yamuna Mahi Ki. Tulasi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Kantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Shila Vyasa Dev Ki. Guru Parampara Ki. Bhakti Vedanta Purports Ki. Natai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. I am most happy to be in your nice company and association to share with you the Srimad Bhagavatam. You can repeat after me. Some translation is going on somewhere. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vikashataham. Okay, for Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, entitled The History of the Life of Ajamil. text number 31. Okay.
हरे कृष्णा। सभी भक्तों के लिए सूचना है कि पीछे सीताराम लक्ष्मण मान ऑल्टरनेट साइड में परिक्रमा मार्ग में अनुवाद हो रहा है हिंदी में। जो भक्त अंग्रेजी भाषा समझ नहीं सकते या ठीक से समझ नहीं सकते वो इस सुविधा का लाभ उठाएं। हरे कृष्ण।
Is it in the parikrama or in the temple room?
Parikrama mark, just behind, this side. It's audible there.
Oh, they have to go. I can't see them.
No, it'll be because there's not sufficient space if they all
Okay.
congregate there.
Is it okay? I mean,
Normally it happens like that.
are they comfortable?
Yeah.
Once again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, entitled The History of the Life of Ajamila. Text number 31. Vikashata Antaridayat Dasipatim Ajamilam Yama Presyan Vishnu Dutta Varayam Asu Ojasaham Vikarshatuntar Hridayad Dashipatim Ajamilam Yama Presyan Vishnu Dutta Varayam Asur Ojasaha. Prabhu. Matajis, Vaishnavis. And the word for word. Vikashataha, snatching. Antaridayat, from within the heart. Dasipatim, the husband of the prostitute. Ajamilam, Ajamil. Yama Presyan, the messengers of Yamaraj. Vishnu Dutta, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu. Varayam Asu, forbade. Ojasaham, with resounding voices. And the translation with the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. You can repeat the translation some words at a time after me. The order carriers of Yamaraj were snatching the soul from the core of the heart of Ajamil, the husband of the prostitute, but with resounding voices, the messengers of Lord Vishnu, the Vishnu Dutas, forbade them to do so. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A Vaishnava, one who has surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, is always protected by Lord Vishnu's order carriers. Because Ajamil had chanted the holy name of Narayan, the Vishnu Dutas not only immediately arrived on the spot, but also at once ordered the Yamadutas not to touch him. By speaking with resounding voices, the Vishnu Dutas threatened to punish the Yamadutas if they continued trying to snatch Ajamil's soul from his heart. The order carriers of Yamaraj have jurisdiction over all sinful living entities. But the messengers of Lord Vishnu, the Vishnu Dutas, are capable of punishing anyone, including Yamaraj, if he wrongs a Vaishnava. Materialistic scientists do not know where to find the soul within the body with their material instruments. But this verse clearly explains that the soul is within the core of the heart, Hridaya. It is from the heart that the Yamadutas were extracting the soul of Ajamil. Similarly, we learn that the Supersoul, Lord Vishnu, is also situated within the heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tistati. In the Upanishads it is said that the Supersoul and the individual soul are living in the same tree of the body as two friendly birds. The Supersoul is said to be friendly because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind to the original soul that when the original soul transmigrates from one body to another, the Lord goes with him. Furthermore, according to the desire and karma of the individual soul, the Lord, through the agency of Maya, creates another body for him. The heart of the body is a mechanical arrangement. As the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshu Arjuna Tistati. How do you pronounce that word?
Ramayan.
I always have difficulty with it.
Ramayan.
Brahmayan.
Ra and then Mayan.
Brahmayan. Sarva Bhutani. I got it right?
Yes.
I'm not good with this Sanskrit. Yantra Rudani Mayaya. Oh, you want to say the verse? Okay. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridesha Arjuna Tistati Pramayam Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudani Mayaya. And the translation, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Unquote. Yantra means a machine such as an automobile. The driver of the machine of the body is the individual soul, who is also its director or proprietor. But the supreme proprietor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One's body is created through the agency of Maya, Karmana, Daiva, Netrena, and according to one's activities in this life, another vehicle is created, again under the supervision of Daivi Maya, Daivi Yashaguna Mahi, Mama Maya Duratyaya. At the appropriate time, one's next body is immediately chosen, and both the individual soul and the supersoul transfer to that particular bodily machine. This is the progress of transmigration. During transmigration from one body to the next, the soul is taken away by the order carriers of Yamaraj and put into a particular type of hellish life, Naraka, in order to become accustomed to the condition in which he will live in his next body. Om Ajnana Atimirandasya Janang Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा। पुनः सबसे अनुरोध है, प्लीज अपने मोबाइल्स बंद कर दीजिए, वाइब्रेटर मोड पे रखिए। प्रवचन के बीच में बहुत बाधा हो रही है। हरे कृष्णा।
The mobile has its use, but right now it's a distraction. Even during japa it's a distraction. Srila Prabhupada never taught us to chant japa by putting the mobile on and looking at somebody chanting japa. He never taught us that. When you chant japa, you should simply hear, you should not see. When you see, you're distracting the hearing capacity. Are you aware of this? So there's more technology will come up to distract us more besides the phone. That's the advancement of Kali Yuga. But it can be used in the proper sense when it's necessary for communication and so forth. Should I give a cell phone class? He distracted me from my thoughts. Naughty. This particular purport is a very general purport for new people. Srila Prabhupada's purports are attracting everyone, including those who are not devotees. But I will speak on how this particular verse itself, in relation to Srila Prabhupada's lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam, is for devotees. One disciple asked Srila Prabhupada that Ajamil was quite sinful. Then Srila Prabhupada said, yes, just like you. I mean, Ajamil was with only one prostitute. And on top of that, he took care of her. He married her. And she became his wife. So Srila Prabhupada is just like you. It's not exactly like Ajamil. It's much worse. We know, right? Yeah. But Srila Prabhupada kind of cut him off. And Srila Prabhupada said, okay, what's your question? What's your question? Right. He said that how is it that Ajamil was remembering his son Narayan at the time of leaving this body, but it wasn't Lord Narayan? And Srila Prabhupada cut him off again. How do you know? Okay. So, another time Srila Prabhupada gave his own example like that. So one person said that, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, that's his name, M.K. Gandhi. He's known as a Mahatma too. Yeah. So Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, they say that at the time of leaving the body after being shot, they say that he said, "Hey Ram." So they asked Srila Prabhupada this question, is that true? Then Srila Prabhupada very casually replied, I was not there. I was not there. So coming back to this disciple. So when this disciple was pushing the question, and in some places in Prabhupada's lectures he says the same thing, you can get it. It's the transcribed lectures, you can get it. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada indicated to him that Ajamil is a special case. It cannot apply to you. Like that. Then Srila Prabhupada mentioned in various lectures in a similar way that Ajamil, because he was trained in Krishna consciousness in his younger days as a proper Brahmana, he had that samskara. So upon leaving the body, because he was most attached to his youngest son, and he named him appropriately Narayan. If he didn't get the training as a Brahmana when he was younger, Srila Prabhupada said, he wouldn't have even named his son Narayan. Because of the training, he gave his son the name of Narayan. So he was remembering his son Narayan, upon leaving the body, and the Yamadutas came. So when that happened, then Srila Prabhupada indicates in the lecture, I'm paraphrasing, that at the last moment, like that, because of his samskaras in Krishna consciousness when he was growing up as a Brahmana boy and as a young man before he got involved with prostitute, like that, he remembered actually Narayan. Actually Narayan. So sometimes you get parents who have children and they are both initiated devotees, and the children were born before they became devotees, or the children were born after they became devotees, doesn't matter. So these children grow up and they become teenagers, and then the parents are, just yesterday a devotee, mother and father came and saw me, what can we do about our son? He's not inclined to practice Krishna consciousness, he's not against it, and so forth like that. But I said, you have given him these samskaras when he was younger. That is sufficient. Like that. That is sufficient. You tried your best to be a good Krishna conscious mother and father to your son. So I said, but if you extend your heart, your compassion, are you thinking the same way of somebody else's son? He said, no. I said, because you are attached to your son, but you're not attached to other parents' sons who are also Krishna's parts and parcels. Only a preacher can do that. Only a preacher can do that. So I said, Srila Prabhupada's consciousness is one of a preacher. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the best Goshthiya Nandi, which is a preacher, is a Bhajana Nandi who preaches. The best preacher is a Bhajana Nandi who preaches. Yes. So I was explaining that to this devotee family, parents like that. So I said, you have to preach. Because when you preach, you expand your consciousness, not just to your son. And as a result, Krishna will take care of your son. And connect him to Krishna, because you already gave him the samskaras at a young age. And they were explaining, he's going wayward, you know. He has one girlfriend, then she left him, then he went for another one, he left her, that type of thing. Which is worse than Ajamil, actually. At least Ajamil didn't exploit and abuse. He took responsibility. See? So the samskaras we have is most important. It will save us. At the last moment, Srila Prabhupada said, because of his training as a proper Brahmana, he remembered Narayan, not his son. Although he remembered his son first, but he remembered Narayan. That's when the Vishnu Dutas came. Like that. So it's never a loss. It's never a loss. There's a nice devotee who used to serve me here when I used to come years ago. His name is Prabha Vishnu Prabhu. You know him, right? Now he's Grihastha. He's here somewhere? Yeah. So he was lamenting at one time, look, Maharaj, I'm married now. I said, don't say that in front of your wife. So I said, you have good samskara. You were brahmachari for many years. You may have been a little naughty, that's fine. Like that. And you probably know him better in his naughtiness than I do. Like that. But you may have done some things that's not favorable, that's fine. But now you're taking responsibility. But those samskaras, what do you call that? PBT. Pre-brahmachari training is most important. It's most important. Ajamil was in a Brahmana family from birth, so he got it. But if you didn't get it in your families, you come to the PBT. The samskaras are most important. Pre-brahmachari training. And even if you do get married, you'll be a responsible husband and responsible father. And I think they have IGF, Iskcon Girls Forum or something else. So they get some training also, they'll be more responsible mothers and wives. That's good. But beyond that is that samskaras to be remembering Krishna. So in this particular book, I'll build you a temple, the Juhu story. So before I refer in relation to this verse to this book, I'll just read from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Gopal Krishna Goswami says for this book, in his reflections, which is 2 pages, but I'm reading just 1 paragraph from the back of the book. It's there. And His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says, Srila Prabhupada spent more time in Bombay, 554 days, than in any other city in the world. And that indicates the significance of the Juhu project and of this book. In I'll Build You a Temple, Giriraj Maharaj has translated his long years of commendable involvement in the leadership of Iskcon Jew, as well as his intense desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's instruction to him to write into a riveting, thoughtful and inspiring book. I welcome you all to take a dip in the nectarian pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Rasa Bihari in Jew, which glorify the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada. So this is some excerpt from 2 full pages of reflections written by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, who's serving the Juhu project since 1975. And did you know that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami is the oldest GBC member on the GBC body? Okay. So in relation to Srila Prabhupada and this particular text, it not only gives you about Juhu, it gives you detailed description of Srila Prabhupada's final days in Vrindavan also, because he left from Juhu to come to Vrindavan. I will read that. Okay, I'm reading. I just want to get this together so that. Okay, this is Srila Prabhupada's final days in Vrindavan. That night, Prabhupada began reflected on his condition. Bhavahu sajach chotra mano biramat. Glorification of the Supreme Lord is the right medicine for the material disease. This is Srila Prabhupada speaking. You will not find any medicine throughout the universe that will benefit you whether you die or live. This is the only medicine both ways. Death is inevitable. You die today or tomorrow. So by taking this medicine, if you die, you have the greatest benefit. And if you live, you enjoy. If you die, enjoy. If you live, enjoy. Go on chanting. I am prepared in either way. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then Giriraj Swami says, Srila Prabhupada was assuring us that wherever he went, he would engage in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. Kirtan was the best medicine because whether he lived or died, was on earth or in heaven, he would enjoy such chanting and hearing of Krishna's glories. Then Srila Prabhupada says, I am very much confident of this medicine, Prabhupada explained. Nobody is prepared to die, but I am prepared to die. That much strength I have got. Generally, people do not like to die, but I will be very glad to die if Krishna wants, or to stay with you. I have no objection either way, but I am not afraid of death. That much strength I have got. Why shall I be afraid? Bhakta Sanevas, to live with the devotees. Such a great opportunity. You are all pure devotees. He's referring to his disciples. To live with you and to die while you are chanting, such a great fortune. So there is no question of being afraid of death. Then, of course, we have our preference, Tamal Krishna said, referring to the devotees' ardent desire that Prabhupada remain with them. Then Srila Prabhupada said, I have no objection. Whatever is his desire, Krishna's desire. It's very different from Ajamil. Ajamil was afraid to die. But Prabhupada was, that means Prabhupada, it's like he'll put his lotus feet on the head of a death personified and go to Golok Vrindavan. Here's a step, go. Not afraid. Very different from Ajamil. So therefore Srila Prabhupada said that Ajamil's case is only one unique case, is never repeated in Vedic history. And it doesn't apply to all of you. Very, very, very important. But although the Vedic literature does not apply to all of us, but the personification of the person Bhagavad is more than the tenets and the Shastric injunctions. It's more than that. And I give you just one example. I need a Bhagavad Gita. I'll give you one example. You all heard of Brahmananda Prabhu, right? Yeah. He's gone back to Prabhupada or to Golok Vrindavan because he left in Vrindavan. That's clear. He did so much service, and Brahmananda Prabhu personally told me about his lapses in the service. And I'll give you one example. Chapter 13 takes 8 to 12. 8 to 12, yeah. I'll give you one example. His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami, who's from Coimbatore, his name when he was brahmachari was Sarvaishvarya, right? Prabhu. So he was in a Ayurvedic hospital in Kerala. So then the next morning he sees, Brahmananda Prabhu in the same Ayurvedic hospital. And he has his own little cottage and he's taking treatment. So he says, this is my opportunity. I can ask him so many questions about Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So he asked Brahmananda Prabhu some questions. Okay. Then His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami, that time a brahmachari, said, the next morning he was chanting his japa. So after he completed his japa, he went to see Brahmananda Prabhu and they sat in the garden on a bench or something, and he was asking some questions. Like that. So one question he asked Brahmananda Prabhu, what is your main link to Srila Prabhupada? And what is the most important instruction from Srila Prabhupada? Like that. So Brahmananda Prabhu just told him that my main link to Srila Prabhupada and the most important instruction from Srila Prabhupada is to chant my 16 rounds of japa daily. So he was satisfied. And Prabhupada also says in the purport for neophyte devotees, it is the most essential instruction of the spiritual master of the disciplic succession. At least he says it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita purport. Okay. So, the next third morning, His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami started chanting again. He completed his japa. But he didn't see Brahmananda Prabhu with his bead bag. This is the third morning. Okay. So he said, because he was a sannyasi, but now he's, in a different mode, but still a very intimate associate of Srila Prabhupada. So he said, Prabhu, I'm chanting my japa, but I don't see you chanting in the morning. Like that. He said, that's precisely the fact why I'm telling you this. You understood his answer? Because I know that I wasn't chanting my rounds sometimes. And I know I'm losing my connection with Srila Prabhupada. But you shouldn't have the same experience. Why? And he warned. And Brahmananda Prabhu said that, for me, somehow Prabhupada is always saving me. But for you, you have to be careful. Because if you don't chant your rounds, he may not come and save you because you're not chanting your rounds. But when I don't chant my rounds and I go lapses in my Krishna conscious practices, I feel very guilty to Srila Prabhupada. So I come back. So you make sure you don't lapse. He's speaking from personal realization. From personal realization. Then he mentioned something to the effect that if I leave this body, I know I will remember Srila Prabhupada. I may not be chanting Hare Krishna. But I don't know about you. Because I don't know who's Krishna. I know Srila Prabhupada. So it's very easy for me to chant Prabhupada, Prabhupada. But Prabhupada said, you should be chanting Hare Krishna. But for me, I don't know. So when His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami told me this exchange with Brahmananda, I told him, don't worry, Brahmananda will go back to Godhead. And then Sarveshwari, that at least Bhaktivinoda Swami said, are you sure? I said, I'll give you proof. So this is chapter 13, text 12, at least chapter 13 in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. And there's a famous, it's a group of verses 8 to 12, but Prabhupada used to most often quote one particular line, Acharya Upasana. Acharya Upasana. One must, surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. And Prabhupada emphasizes those words, Acharya Upasana. So it's in the purport. Now I'm going to read the purport. It's good to put it on the screen. Everyone, while it's coming on the screen, tell him where. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, in this particular part of the purport, Prabhupada gives us more information on Acharya Upasana. It's the second sentence from this verse. I'll read. As for acceptance, thank you. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential. Because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. This is Brahmananda. Brahmananda Prabhu, with all humility, served Srila Prabhupada without any reservations and without any motivation. And Prabhupada said, and that spiritual master will bestow his blessing upon the disciple. Now before I read the next, to continue the paragraph, keep it there. Actually, I couldn't believe this when I read the next two sentences. I couldn't believe it. So there's a devotee, his name is Ranjit Prabhu. He's born in South Africa, but he went to America and then he became a devotee there. And he is responsible for the archives, Bhaktivedanta archives. He's one of the devotees responsible there. So I contacted him and I told him, can you go to the microfiche, F-I-C-H-E, and I want the exact words from Prabhupada's dictation on this purport and this particular verses. He said, why? I said, there may be some mistake. There may be some editorials stuff that, his editors may have changed something or something. I don't know. Like that. He said, are you sure? I said, you go to it. He looked at the microfiche and he said, it is exactly the same in the Bhagavad Gita. He said, there's no mistake. Because shastrically, this is not possible. Whether it's to Upanishads or Puranas or Itihasas or whatever commentaries are there, this is not possible. So I'll read. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulative principles. How is that? And then there's a full stop. And then the word or, it's a separate thing. Or, the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. But the sentence before that refers to so many devotees who pleased Srila Prabhupada, and then maybe during Srila Prabhupada's time or after, they are not able to follow the regulative principles. This is beyond Shastra, beyond scripture. Ajamil's case is very mild. Ajamil's case is very mild. It's true. This reminds me of something else. Usually I bring my notes. This is a free redemption class. There was one disciple. He approached Srila Prabhupada. He took his japa, bead bag and beads. He went to front of Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, you take your beads and the bead bag also. I'm going. Srila Prabhupada didn't say a word. So he's telling Srila Prabhupada, I'm going, but he's not moving. And Srila Prabhupada didn't look at him directly. Srila Prabhupada put his head down. And one tear fell. One tear fell. He took his beads back. And he went backwards to the door. Prabhupada never lifted up his head. He went out that door and he never left Krishna consciousness. It's beyond Shastra. Such compassion is beyond. No words. Just one tear. Translation. Then I'll tell you how Prabhupada's situation with his disciples is. This situation is worse than Ajamil's. I'll give you another one. Another disciple came. Srila Prabhupada was in a room. I forget which part of the world. But from Srila Prabhupada's room, there's like a large window, and you can look through that window, and you can see people walking on the street, not very far away. Like that. So he came, and he said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to leave. Then Srila Prabhupada asked him, why? I want to go out there, and I want to do those activities I used to do before. I can't control my mind and my senses, And I thought, I can't break the principles in the temple, so I have to leave the temple. So Srila Prabhupada looked at him. Srila Prabhupada didn't give him permission, but the way Srila Prabhupada spoke, he got shocked. Srila Prabhupada said, "Look out the window." He looked out. So what do you see? He said, "I see people walking busy." Who do you see specifically? And he had to say, because Srila Prabhupada knows what is in his mind. Srila Prabhupada, "I see the women. But there's men there too." "No, Prabhupada, I only see the woman. I want to go in." Then he looked at Srila Prabhupada. "Srila Prabhupada, can I go?" Then Srila Prabhupada said, "Go, pick one." He was like, "Srila Prabhupada, you're giving me permission to go? Go and pick one." He didn't expect that. And then he said, "Srila Prabhupada, you really want me to go?" He said, "Go and pick one." It's like he was completely bewildered. He was completely bewildered. And Srila Prabhupada told him, "It's that damn cheap. It's that damn cheap." And you know this analogy? Why do you have to keep a cow at home? You know that one? There's so many cows available on the street. It's that damn cheap. You'll associate with one woman, associate with one man, then leave that and go. It's cheap. It is cheap. Ajamil only with one prostitute. This is a problem. Go, pick one. It's cheap. It's so cheap. Okay. Then he said, "Sama Mahatma Sadulabha." Krishna consciousness is very rare. It's very rare. It's not cheap. Now you decide. It's very rare to chant Hare Krishna. It's very rare to hear such a devotional Guru Puja today in Kirtan. Very rare. Very rare. So why you want to leave something that is of so valuable and so rare for something that's damn cheap? It's easily available on the road, street. Ajamil's case is mild compared to that. Then Srila Prabhupada looked at him. He had his head down. He went backwards also. He went out of the door and he never left Krishna consciousness. So we may want to leave Srila Prabhupada. We may want to leave His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. We may want to leave Mohan Rupa Prabhu. We may want to leave the Vaishnavas, but they will never leave you. They will never leave you. The samskaras that you have received and the realizations you have received in practicing Krishna consciousness, despite your own material desires, will get you back. They will never leave you. So, I'm not sure about time. I don't know. Oh, Sunday. Sunday is the holy day. Okay. Where's Nanda Gopal Jeevan Mahabala Prabhu? Where's Mahabala? I don't think I got his darshan yet. Where's Mahabala? Where's our books? It's there. Okay. So, I'm going to read some things from this beautiful book, I'll Build Your Temple, the Jew Story. So, His Holiness Giriraj Swami writes, Gopal Krishna was expert at political and diplomatic dealings. That is 108% true. This is facing challenges, with the Jewish situation. Now maybe I'll reserve that for later. I'll just read this one. It says, this is in 1974, maybe at the beginning or so, right? That month, Gopal Krishna became the GBC for India. Whole of India. He landed in Mumbai but proceeded to Mayapur where Prabhupada told him. Prabhupada gives bait. You GBC whole of India. But, Prabhupada told him, your first task is to complete the Bombay building in 6 months. Don't worry about the rest of India. Unquote. Then Gopal Krishna attended the opening of the Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan and then came to Juhu. This is 1975. But before he arrived, Prabhupada prepared me, which means Giriraj Swami. To impress me with Gopal's competence and stature, he told me that Gopal had his own office in a major company and his own car. You know Pepsi Cola? Yes. So Prabhupada told that to Giriraj Swami about Gopal Krishna Goswami. But both were not sannyasis then. Then Giriraj Swami continues, I was surprised to hear Prabhupada speak about Gopal Krishna in such terms. Then he is feeling, Giriraj Swami, did he think that in my association with big men in Bombay, I had developed that standard of assessing a devotee? I hadn't thought so, but I was convinced that he knew me better than I knew myself. So his words made me look into my heart. That's Giriraj Swami. Then Giriraj Swami quotes Prabhupada. I was thinking of making you the GBC for India, Prabhupada told me. But then I considered that your service as temple president in Bombay was more important. Then Giriraj Swami continues, I knew I wasn't qualified to be GBC for India, but I appreciated Prabhupada's kindness in speaking to me in that way. In time, I noticed that Prabhupada gave Gopal, which is Gopal Krishna Goswami, a lot more freedom than he had given Gopal's predecessors. There was 2 GBC men he made. The first GBC he made was Madhuvisa, GBC for India. Failed. Not failed in the sense, it's too much. I want to go back to the West. The second GBC he made was Tamal Krishna Goswami for the whole of India. He also said, I want to go back to West and preach. Prabhupada said, okay, sannyasi, you go. That's Gopal's predecessors. In time, I noticed that Prabhupada gave Gopal a lot more freedom than he had given Gopal's predecessors. I figured that either Prabhupada had decided within himself to withdraw a little from the management, or he felt that Gopal was able to function more on his own than the others. In any case, Prabhupada was leaving to Gopal matters in which he previously would have become more directly involved. I also felt relieved that Gopal was carrying some of the burden of Prabhupada's management responsibilities. Amazing. that Prabhupada had this fate in His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj way back in 1975 when he called him to India. That now you can do what I am doing and relieve me. Like that. Amazing. You want to hear about that political and diplomatic dealings? Okay, this came after he made GBC. Now his nature of being expert at politics and diplomacy comes in. This is the first instance of his political and diplomatic dealings. The first instance in India. Gopal Krishna was an expert at political and diplomatic dealings. Giriraj Swami is speaking about him. And they worked very close together. They served close together. And I was impressed with how he systematically pursued the matter of permission from one politician to another, one officer to another, and back again. Right? Now Gopal Krishna Maharaj is speaking about his own expertise in political and diplomatic dealings. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj is saying, the president of the ruling Maharashtra Congress Party, P.K. Sawant, Chief Minister, who had been the caretaker Chief Minister of Maharashtra for some time, was quite pious, quite nice, he later recalled. And V.S. Page, P-A-G, that's how you pronounce Page? V.S. Page or Page? Page, V.S. Page, the Speaker of the Legislative Council, the upper house in the Maharashtra legislature, was also pious and a Sanskrit scholar. So practically every day we would go to these politicians. That means Gopal Krishna Maharaj is saying, he and Giriraj Swami, we would go to these politicians and tell them we are not getting the no objection certificate to build the temple. They already got the land by then. We would go to the police commissioner and he would say, I have no objection, go to the municipal commissioner. We would go to the municipal commissioner and he would say, I have no problem, go to that man. So we were going all day from morning to night, from A to B, B to C, C to D. That's Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Giriraj Swami. But Gopal Krishna Maharaj is saying this. Now Giriraj Swami continues. Because I knew most of the important people in Bombay, I was able to inform Gopal Krishna about them, and we went around together meeting with the people we thought would help, especially with the permission for the temple. People I knew or who knew people I knew. I would introduce him, Gopal Krishna, and in most cases, especially in dealing with the politicians, he would speak more than I would, explaining our situation and trying to enlist their help. We were afraid to approach the Chief Minister, S.P. Chavan. Chavan, that's how you pronounce Chavan. And though he was the highest authority and we didn't know about him and how he would respond. One day, we met a newspaper reporter who had interviewed Chavan in some other connection, and he had mentioned us to him. Matre is the one of, Prabhupada called him like a sub-demon or something. The demon was Nair, sub-demon. Matre was getting bad articles about us published in the newspapers. So the reporter had asked the Chief Minister what he thought of the devotees. Although we didn't know the Chief Minister, he had said, I think they are very good people. I don't believe any of the bad things being published about them in the press. Feeling encouraged, we went to Sachivalaya to meet the Chief Minister's personal secretary to try to get an appointment. Now you have to observe Gopal Krishna Maharaj's diplomatic and political dealings. Feeling encouraged, we went to Sachivalaya to meet the Chief Minister's personal secretary to try to get an appointment. While we were waiting in the outer room, Gopal Krishna got the idea to just go into the Chief Minister's office. Usually the doors were guarded, but somehow there was no one around and he said, let's just go in. That's how they do it in India, right? Usually when we entered an important person's chamber, without permission, the person would press a button and call for his secretary to escort us out, or sometimes just shout, "Get out!" So we weren't sure what to expect. But when we opened the door and entered, Chavan stood up and received us as holy men with honor and respect. He offered us seats. He offered us seats and asked how we could serve us. When we explained our predicament, he said, "I will help you. I will solve the problem. Don't worry." And because of the chief minister, all these other sub-demons, commissioner's office, this, that, and we got it. But it gives more detail. It takes a long time to read all the detail. Like that. So Prabhupada heard about it. Right? I'm skipping some about Chavan and how he's got the no objection certificate. All it comes down, and everyone's so friendly now, even before they give them a hard time. Even the local police, chief minister. So on May 26, this is 1975, 4 days after our meeting with Chavan, Gopal Krishna wrote Prabhupada about what had transpired. Because we got the no objection certificate through the chief minister. Nice. On May 26, 4 days after our meeting with Chavan, Gopal Krishna wrote Prabhupada about what had happened. Prabhupada replied to Gopal Krishna, "It is a great credit that you have met with the chief minister, and now he will give us all help." So you can understand how important services Srila Prabhupada and his intimate disciples have done for him. It's all in this book. This book also clearly in detail shows you how His Holiness Radhanath Swami joined Iskcon in this Cross Maidan festival in Mumbai, even before getting completely the Jew land. This book also described in detail how His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj joined Iskcon. He made an application as Raghunath Patil to join. And he sent it to the president, Giriraj Swami. He sent it there. Yeah. This is not exactly in the book, the way I'm going to say it, because His Holiness Lokanath Swami told me, but some mention is there. Because Giriraj Swami sometimes plays things down about himself, but I'll say it. Anyway, I'll say two things. One is that when Raghunath Patil was studying in one prestigious college, he thought he has to send an application, He wrote a whole thing. He already read some of the books from the Cross Maidan Festival, and he sent his application. You'll read his letter in detail here. The detailed letter of how he joined is here. So when he came to meet the president, they wrote him back and say, "Come and meet us." So he came to meet the president. So he met somebody, and he said, "The president is very busy." One thing, okay. He must be very busy, he's the president, Like that. So he came to Juhu to meet the president. That time there was no building and everything like that. Yeah. So he said, "The president is very busy." And Radharasi Bihari was in this chatai, temple with like some steel roof or something. Yeah. So His Holiness Lokanath Swami is telling me this. So I said, "Okay, carry on." So he said, eventually, the secretary told him that the president is available. So His Holiness Giriraj Swami, that time Brahmachari, comes and he said, "You wanted to meet me? I'm Giriraj Das." "Oh, you're the president. You wrote me, I remember." Yeah. He said, come sit like that. We have accepted your application. He said, but I have one question. When I asked your secretary, is the president busy? And the secretary said yes. But I saw you doing something. He said, yes, I was busy chanting Hare Krishna. He said, I can't meet you after I complete my 16 rounds of japa. He said, I've been busy chanting. He said, yeah, I was thinking, you were busy chanting, I saw you, then I didn't realize you the person. Why didn't you see me? No, I was busy chanting Hare Krishna. He said, that is the first instruction in your training. And Lokanath Swami kept that. Did you first chant your 16 rounds before you do anything else? But that's not exactly in the book. He said that's how he learned. That your first and foremost service is to chant your 16 rounds. Therefore, all your other services will become devotional service and not just service by the chanting. Is that okay? Yeah. Then I will share two more things. This is coming personally from His Holiness Giriraj Swami, but it's not in the book. This book could be double the volume, but you can't. 800 pages, 40 color pictures, with Srila Prabhupada, and so forth. Oh, it's there. Okay. Now, which one should I share first? Okay, I'll share the one in relation to the book first, but it's not in the book. So everyone, Srila Prabhupada's early disciples, including Shama Sundar Prabhu, Tamal Krishna Goswami, and all the other senior devotees who was with Prabhupada in Mumbai, they told Prabhupada, let's try to get our money back. I don't know, maybe 2 lakhs or something at that time, the deposit for the money. Let's try to get our money back. This is a big headache to get this land. It's too much. But Giriraj Swami said, no, Prabhupada wants this land. Prabhupada wants this land. And they practically lost the land. And Prabhupada came to Mumbai. And Prabhupada was angry, fuming. Did you want to get your money back? And, no, fuming. I said, no, we need this land. Right? So after he dealt with this issue that, because they were telling Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Goswami, Shamasun, just forget this land, it's too troublesome. Because it was Prabhupada's greatest fight to establish Krishna consciousness in India. And it's the biggest fight in the world for this. So he called Giriraj Das Brahmachari in his room. And he said, practically, you are the only one who has faith in my vision for this Hare Krishna land. And I could see that you stood here and walked out. You're the only one. I'm just telling you confidentially, Giriraj Swami mentioned. He also mentioned in a Zoom meeting with devotees in Pune. He mentioned it briefly there too, when he was talking about the book. So I'll tell you a personal exchange about this book. And that was also in the Zoom meeting with those devotees with Revati Pati Prabhu was, from Pune, and Radhesham Prabhu. Yeah. So he asked me to come onto the Zoom meeting and say something. But I didn't say anything. So Revati Pati Prabhu asked Giriraj Swami in the Zoom meeting about this book. He said, we have heard from different sources that you never kept a diary. Oh, you write all these things, and you never kept a diary. So in that Zoom meeting, Giriraj Swami said something like, maybe I have very good memory. That's all he said. So when I heard that, I wrote in that Zoom, I said, I want to say something. So Revati Pati put me first in line, after somebody else spoke in between. And the first thing I said is, I disagree with His Holiness Giriraj Swami that he has a good memory. This is not true. Everyone's like, what? He's a disciple, sannyas disciple also, initiated by Giriraj, and he's disagreeing with his guru? What is this? What's going to happen? So way back in 1992 or 93, I went to California in the US and I was serving His Holiness Giriraj Swami personally. So he took time out to stay in one devotee's small apartment in a place called near Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is between Los Angeles and San Diego on the west coast of the United States. So I was staying with him. This is 1994, so way back in the early 90s. So somehow or the other, I was maybe very tired. And this is like, what, almost 30 years ago, right? Yeah, 28 years ago. Right? Yeah. This is 28 years ago. And I was serving him, but it was like maybe about 9, 10 in the night. And I wanted to go and take some rest, but I fell asleep, in the entrance to the small, it's like a studio apartment, entrance to the small apartment. I fell asleep on that where I was sitting. And when I got up, it was like 1 o'clock morning. Then I thought, now wait, hold on, what to do? So in his room where he was resting, I saw the light on. And I went slowly to the door and I put my ear to the keyhole. And what I was hearing? A dictaphone. And I was hearing some words about the Juhu story. Click, 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 click. This 1 o'clock in the morning. And 4 o'clock, I thought, I'm not going to go anywhere. No. I realized that he was dictating for the book. He didn't keep a diary. Like that. So I left and I went to my room and I took a few hours rest, maybe about 2-3 hours rest, and I was back there like 4-5 in the morning. And I still saw the light on. At this time he knew I was there, because in America when they build the homes you can hear somebody coming in. It's like wood, stuff, you can close the door and you can hear. So he came out of the room, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, he came out of the room. He said, oh, you didn't take a rest? I said, no, I did, I came back. Like that. And he started smiling and beaming. So I said, you may have been speaking to your dictaphone to be transcribed for the book. That's just how Srila Prabhupada used to do, at 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, yes. He said, when I take a rest and then suddenly after 2 hours, I just get up and all this thing just rushes into my consciousness, and I just go into the bathroom and I just, wipe my, rinse my eyes and wash my hands quickly, and I take out my dictaphone. What if it misses me? It's just coming. Everything is just coming. Then I may have said, you're just dictating, right? He said, yes. Then I may have said something else, as if he didn't keep any notes of these things because he never kept a diary. Then I asked him, how is it possible? He said, it is just an outpouring of the heart. That's the book. Just coming from the heart. Outpouring from the heart. And I just said something like, that is love. So after I said that on the Zoom class, so Revatipati came onto the Zoom class. He said, Maharaj, I agree 108% with Bhakti Brihat Bhagavad Swami. It's not your memory. It's not your memory. It is simply love. It is not like you have a computer memory chip and it's like in the background and then you tune it out. No, it's just an outpouring of the heart. So basically the whole book is a language of the heart. I can read more for you, but you can read it on your own. Is that all right? Yeah. I was in Faridabad temple and we distributed over 100 books in 45 minutes. Then they kept me for 2 hours. I had to sign it too. Like that. Okay. So where's the books? It's not on the table. You may run out of stock. So he's helping to distribute. His name is Nanda Gopal Jivan Prabhu. He's helping with... Where's Mahabala Prabhu? I don't know. I don't know if I met him before. Okay, that's fine. But you can get some help, right? So I've taken a little extra time. I'm not sure whether we have time for questions or comments, but I believe we may not do that. Mohan Rupa Prabhu? I don't know if we have any time for questions. I'm not sure. It's a little late now. Should I take any? All right. I'll tell you something about this book in its printing and publication. This book, 10,000 copies were printed in January 2021, beginning of last year. It is printed by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, but it's specifically printed by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust in Australia. It's printed by BBT Australia. It's not printed with any other BBT in the world. And it's a deluxe edition. It's expensive. It has a dust cover. See? Like that. It's hardbound, sewed and stitched. 800 pages, 40 color photos. And those 10,000 copies for the rest of the world, printed by BBT Australia, was distributed in 3 months. Finished. Last year. But they gave some copies to Jew and India. Out of the 10,000, they only gave 1,500, and the Jew took the most of the first printing. Last year, in September, October, printing prices in terms of paper went up by 40%. You know paper? 40% increase. Everyone knows that if you're in the printing game. Went up by 40%. We had a special price for India. This book sells in the United States and in the UK for 18 pounds or 25 US dollars. How much is that in rupees? Almost 2,000 rupees. Because I talked to BBT Australia, I printed another, with BBT Australia, another 10,000, and I reserved 7,500 for India. And we got it at Prabhupada's formula rate. For India, at half the price for the selling price. From almost 2,000 rupees you're getting it for. And we didn't increase the price, although the paper price has gone up. Because I was responsible for the pricing, and I said, I'm not increasing the price. We want this book to go to every devotee home. This book covers how devotees used to fight with each other and how Prabhupada used to resolve it. This book covers the original nature of the life membership and patron membership program and how you meant to do it and how it's not supposed to be changed. This book shows you everything about book distribution, temple construction, dealing with politicians, dealing with people, everything. Everything that you can be trained in one place for 3 months in a row or for so many days. Prabhupada spent there most of the days of his life with us. There is in this book. Any question you have, it's here. It's like a published Prabhupada Leela manual for anything, any answer you want to, any question that Prabhupada wants to answer for you in this book. Okay, so if you want to come forward and avail yourself, you can do that. He has an arrangement with the temple we have, and we can work it out if you want. And there's also for other temples we have discounts, They won't pay 1,000 rupees retail. That's the retail price, and nobody can sell it for more than that. In 5 years' time, this book will be rare. We're not reprinting it. You know why? Because it may go, what do you call that thing? E-book. But this is, we say Grantharaj. Grantharaj means stitched, not e-book. When you hold the book, it's another feel. You know that even with Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Is that all right? So, Mohan Rupa Prabhu, did you read this book? You
can give him the first copy.
There's a gift for you. We're not sure about the Hindi translation yet. Now, the person who read this whole manuscript before it could be printed was His Grace Rishi Kumar Prabhu, because he was like sort of overseeing the reflections from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, who wrote in the book. So he read the book. Can you tell us something about it? Hindi, English. Don't take more than 3 minutes.
No.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshunmilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, we were initially thinking that there should be a preface that was already being written by, I think, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And so... Forward, sorry. And then we were, Srila Giriraj Maharaj and His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj were actually wondering what to title this particular section of what Maharaj was going to write. And then His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj came up with the name Reflections. And I remember that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj literally dictated to me a whole host of things. And then he asked me to just polish it up. So I polished up a few areas, and I can assure you that not one line that I polished up is there in the book. Everything was again polished by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So this is completely the reflections of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and it also, to me, it showed the intimacy between His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, because I remember around the same time we were also discussing, me and Nandagopal Prabhu, about how once His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj said that between me and Gopal Krishna, ours is like an Indian marriage. There's a lot of quarrel but no divorce. so I could see how the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are united so much in the singular motive of serving Srila Prabhupada. And to me, this is a labor of love of His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, completely embellished by the support of all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, who are very much an integral part of this book. Many of you have grown up reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. If you have read it, let me please tell you that you should definitely get this. This is no different. This is definitely Srila Prabhupada's Leela. This is also Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrit, but embellished by the Leela of all His wonderful devotees also. His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki.
I also want to add something that His Holiness Giriraj Swami and His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, it's like a marriage, but no divorce, right? Yeah. You will be quite amazed that most of my time in India is spent in the Delhi NCR area. So I also have a very intimate connection with the devotees, especially the older devotees like Mohan Rupa Prabhu, Rishi Kumar, Gopeshwar, Advaita Krishna Prabhu, Rukmini Krishna Prabhu. We are all very close friends. Sundar Gopal Prabhu. All of us are. And we can't forget Amoga Lila Prabhu. The leading devotees, for many years I'm closely connected with them. So it's like that same, but it's not exactly a marriage. Because they don't fight with me. I fight with them. So that's also a connection, in the parampara line. It's also a connection. Like that. Okay, so we're going to conclude now? Yeah. I know many people are asking me for the Hindi translation of the book. That will take at least 5 years. It's a big book. And we may print it in 2 volumes in the Hindi part because it's very big. This book is 1.2 kilos. A heavy book. Yeah. Say this, give microphone there to Mohan. Some. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna. I would like to thank Maharaj for his wonderful association today, and I would like to thank Maharaj for this wonderful gift. I will build you a temple, and Prabhupada said that he has built a house in which the whole world can live in. So this book is also like that. So if we read this book, then we can also live with the book. We can experience what is there in the book. And Nanda Gopal Prabhu has got one devotee with him, Sarvasakshi Prabhu. He does a lot of Hindi translation. He has published many books in Hindi. And he has been translating many Hindi books.
Yes.
So maybe Maharaj, I don't know, maybe he can translate in Hindi. He's good at that.
One devotee who knows English and Hindi, they already started translating actually.
It's already done actually.
The team, yeah. Still going forward. One devotee who read this book and knows Hindi and English also, he said that this is the actual Mahabharata of Iskcon. The fights and everything, amongst family members also. Mahabharata of Iskcon. Today, today when devotees have differences among themselves, it's nothing, it's small thing. When you read the book, those differences, whoa, what Prabhupada had to deal with, What Prabhupada had to deal with. Small. So it's a Mahabharata of Iskcon. Prabhupada also one time said that Jew is like Kurukshetra. You'll read in the book about that. We can conclude now?
Yes, Maharaj. So I just want to request the devotees to get this book today itself, because many of the devotees sitting here are expert book distributors. They do a lot of book distribution, Maharaj.
Oh, it's a BBT book. You'll get full big book.
Yeah, so he can score points also. Hanuman Prabhu is asking that whether we can score points or not. He is a book distributor. So he can himself take out 1,000 books himself. He is empowered to do that.
Yes.
So we want to request all the devotees, please take the book for yourself. You have been distributing book to others, but you can distribute the book for yourself. You can take it for your home and read this book. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki, breakfast prasadam ki, Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrindi ki, Natai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. I could.
हरे कृष्णा सभी भक्तों से अनुरोध है अभी का अभी आप पुस्तक